Okay, so just before we get started on week number 1, I want to try and keep the movement on the mat as successful for as many of you as possible. And I know that some have differing levels of experience with yoga and some of you are brand new to the mat. So just to talk about some alternatives or some accessible options that you may be able to take during the sequence of the sun salutations or the SURYA NAMASKARAs that you're going to learn next. Anytime that we come back to downward facing dog, and we do it a lot, and we're going to be holding this posture for an endurance amount of 5 counts of Ujjayi breath. So anytime that you come here and you find that you're really fatiguing, maybe in your shoulders, in this posture, there will be alternatives to drop the knees down, take them nice and wide into child's pose, and just sit your sit bones back, stretching long on the floor. If shoulders need more active recovery, feel free to sweep them around, relax the back of the palms to the floor, and bring your forehead to the ground. Alternatively, just to stay active in that position, you may even choose just to come out of downward facing dog, come back to table position, and take rounds of cat and cow stretch. So this may help you when you're building up your strength endurance, particularly for things like the Chaturanga Dandasana, known as 4-limb stick pose. And in this position, we also know that lowering our body weight like a tricep push-up is going to be really ultra challenging. And it's going to be important that we start to learn to do this correctly, particularly to keep the shoulders super safe. So the fingers will be spread on the floor, and for your full Chaturanga Dandasana, the thigh bones draw up, the kneecaps draw up, the belly draws in, and we lower the whole body just like a stick. Hips stay in line with shoulders. Flatten the feet, and then you work to upward facing dog from here. So if this is really challenging for you, and it does take a certain amount of time to build upper body strength to perform from your toes, the knees, chest and chin option will be your port of call. So you'll move from stepping back to downward facing dog. You'll come to the high plank posture, and you'll drop the knees, still corkscrewing the elbows in close towards the rib cage, the chest and the chin to the floor. Notice the belly stays off the ground before we flatten the feet. And then maybe even pushing to upward facing dog, where the knees lift, the thighs lift, and we roll the shoulders back. So I just encourage you to take the options that make you feel the most successful, but be really honest with your practice and what your body needs to build strength over time. So welcome to week number 1. And this week we're really going to focus on nailing the basics for your yoga practice. And what you're going to learn in the next 10 to 15 minutes is then going to be something that we come back to very, very often in the rest of the 12 weeks time. So going to start in slightly restorative posture. So come on your mat and turn yourself side on so that you're laying down onto your back. From this position, just bring the soles of your feet together into butterfly pose, and you're opening your hips towards the ground. It's going to help us just bring our attention to opening heart space and perhaps to start to connect with breath. So from here, the heels staying close, allow your knees to naturally drop. There's no muscular tension. Perhaps take your arms out to a cactus position. So you can have your arms wide to 90 degrees if it's comfortable for you, rolling the shoulder blades back. Relax the fingers into the floor. Maybe even close the eyes. And we can start to connect with the Ujjayi breath. And it was something I talked about in your introduction. So breathe in through the nose, mouth closed. Breathe out through the nose, mouth closed. Breathe in, feel the belly, the chest, the ribcage rise. Breathe out. Allow yourself to let go physically. Take 5 more breaths at your own pace. And we know the inhale and the exhale, we try to keep relatively free for the rest of this practice. And it's always going to help you in the postures rather than hurt you. Hug your knees towards your body, release your lower back, and create small clockwise circles with the knees. This is great for the kidneys and the lower back. You might find some sticky spots. Moving anti-clockwise. And then from this position, hug the knees in, lift the head, the neck, the shoulders, tuck chin to chest and round the spine. Drop the head back towards the floor. Breathe in again. And as you breathe out through your nose, lift your head, your neck, your shoulders. Release the spine. One more time. Breathing in. Exhale fully. And then from this position, drop your knees towards your right hand side. So the knees go right and the head, it goes left. So you look down your back shoulder and you tuck your chin in towards your shoulder blade. For a deeper release here, maybe place the hand on the knee, stack the knees high. And if it's accessible and feels good for you, you could take calf or foot. Knees come to center. Take them left and your head to the right. Aim to flatten the palm to the floor, press it down. And as we roll to the middle, we'll bring ourselves to sit. Cross your right shin on top of your left and rock and roll 3 times. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Fold your left heel in, cross your right shin over the top, and just allow your hips to open equally. Bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee, lift your chest, look back over your right shoulder, turn your head, turn your eyes and your neck. And notice that as we breathe in, we elongate, and as we breathe out, we aim to revolve with power. Right hand to outside of left knee. Use the back of the arm as a lever to sit really tall. Inhale for length and exhale to revolve. Your head looks back. Take 2 more breaths here. And work your way to the top of your mat. Your hands will be directly underneath your shoulders in table. And let's first and foremost start to talk about what the palms are going to do. So in all of your yoga practice, your 5 fingers are going to spread on the floor as wide as they possibly can. And the reason for this is we're going to take a little bit of load out of the wrist. We don't want to dump the weight into the hand, the heel of the hand. That's going to protect the wrist from a lot of loading the body, as we get to do later on. So spread the fingers wide, pay particular attention to your first 2. So second finger faces forward in a straight line, and then your index finger spreads on the ground, and then you grip with your thumb like an L shape. From here, draw the belly in and up. We can start to think about the bandhas in yoga, if you know what they are. So we draw the pelvic floor in, we draw the Uddiyana Bandha in, and then from here, tuck the toes and hover your knees a couple of inches off the floor, draw the belly in tight. Firstly, shift your weight back, butt towards heels, and then tip your sit bones up high. Find your first downward facing dog. You may just need to adjust the length on your feet, so you're in an upside down triangle. Hands stay pressing into the floor, and we physically energize the arms as we press our chest back. Elbows slightly externally rotate, and we draw our shoulders away from our ears. You should feel V-shaped tension down your mid-back. If your hamstrings are tight here, the heels may lift, and you may bend your knees. And your focus in downward dog as this posture is to get your sit bones as high as possible for you. So go to where you need to, And be really conscious of your hip position. Relax the chin, and we're looking at our eye gaze, our drishti point, back to our knees. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose in this position. Bend your knees, they hover off the floor. Draw the belly in tight and keep the weight shifted over the shoulders. Wrist, elbow and shoulders are stacked. Shift weight back, deep breath in, and then shift the weight up to your downward facing dog. Come back to the Ujjayi breath as much as you can. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. We often think downward dog's a resting posture, but it's really active. And it's one of the fundamentals that we want to nail because we perform it a lot. Bend the knees again. Shift weight back. This is your last repetition. And lift your hips high. If you're super flexible, you may be able to ground your heels and even lift your big toes off the floor to work on your foot and your ankle flexibility. So maybe paddle the feet, see what feels good for you here. Even shifting the hips from side to stretch the sides of the lats and the chest. And on your next exhale, look forwards to your hands, bend your knees, and take as many steps as you need to bring your feet between your hands. Your big toes are touching in this position, and your heels are very slightly apart. Come hands on shins, flattening the back, rolling the shoulders back actively. Inhale, draw the belly in, and as you exhale, bring crown of heads and chin towards chest. Bending the knees lots, we unravel through the spine, standing, rolling up head, neck, and shoulders. And we find ourselves in Samastahiti. So we're going to run through 5 parts of A and 5 parts of B. These are your SURYA NAMASKARAs. They're known as your sun salutations. And they're going to really create some dynamic heat in the body. And that's going to be important. It's going to allow you to feel that you perform a lot more volume in a short space of time for the yoga practice. It's going to get you really warm for some static postures. So feet together, top of your mat. Inhale to lift your arms, looking up to the palms. Exhale, bend your knees as much as you need to bring palms to floor. Lengthen either on fingertips or hands to shins if you need to for your back. Bend your knees and place your palms down. Step your right foot back and your left foot back to a high plank position. Just hold here for a second. Actively push the ground away. Draw the belly in tight. Drop your knees. Drop your chest and your chin to the floor. Elbows hug the body. Lay flat. Check in with your feet are flat on the floor and your hands are by your rib cage in this position. This is Cobra. Tuck your toes. Find your downward facing dog and hold for 5 breaths here. So inhale 1, exhale 1, inhale 2, exhale 2, inhale 3 and stay with that rhythm, checking your feet and your hands are shoulder width apart. Remember to bend the knees and lift the heels if it helps lift your sit bones higher. But start to bring attention again through a mental checklist. Spread your 5 fingers as wide as they will go. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Tuck your chin and look back to your knees. On your 5th outward breath, bend knees and step right foot and left foot between hands. Lengthen half and exhale to forward fold. Inhale to stand, arms, eyes, chest lifts. And exhale to equal standing. Round number 2, inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling, lengthening half. Placing the hands down, step back, right leg and left leg. Take knees, chest and chin and lay on your belly. Roll your shoulders back here. Engage your thigh muscles and press yourself halfway. Tuck your toes, lift your hips high, and find your way back to downward facing dog. 5 rounds of breath here. Inhaling 1, exhaling 1, inhaling 2, exhaling 2. Once more, refocus on gripping the mat, energizing the arms. But start to now bring your legs into play. So draw your thigh bones up, draw your kneecaps up, and draw your belly button towards your spine so that you feel really strong. One more inhale, and on the 5th exhale, you bend your knees. You look forwards and you step right leg, and you step left leg. Lengthen half, exhale to forward fold. Inhale to stand, arms, eyes, chest, and exhale. 3rd round, inhale. 1 breath, 1 move, exhale. Inhale, lengthen half. Place the hands, step back right leg, step back left leg, light as you can. First chance for Chaturanga Dandasana. So to build strength, it's going to be completely fine to drop to your knees, your chest and your chin to lower down at any point. And this is much better than completely collapsing the lower back. Chaturanga Dandasana is 4-limb stick pose. We aim to lower just halfway, stopping, flattening the feet, and coming to upward facing dog. In up dog, lift your knees, squeeze your thighs, roll your shoulders back, and bring your heart space between your hands. Downward facing dog pushes you back, and you take 5 rounds of breath. Inhale 1, exhale 1. So every time you come here, think to yourself, what am I doing? Am I gripping the floor? Am I engaging my legs? Are my bandhas switched on? So am I engaging my abdominals and up through my pelvic floor? And then the breath, the Ujjayi breath, it creates this internal heat. Keeping the mouth closed, it seals in the energy. That's known as our prana. Look to your hands, bend your knees, right leg, left leg steps. Lengthen half. Exhale, fold. Inhale, standing. Exhale. 4th round, inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling half. Exhaling. Now you may have been working for some time on your float back. If you want to float back, press the hands firmly into the floor, lift the tailbone, lift the sit bones, land light as you can in your chaturanga, and roll your shoulder blades back. Downward facing dog. Inhale 1, exhale 1. 5 rounds of breath, always here. Sometimes it feels good to even nod the head yes. Shake the head no. Don't have to be completely static, but think about holding in strength away from the floor. So push the ground away as much as you can. After your 5th exhale, looking forwards to the hands, maybe stepping or starting to jump with legs straight. Lengthen half, exhale, fold. Inhale, stand. Exhale. 5th and final round. Inhale, look up. Exhale. Look to big toes for your eye gaze point. Lengthen 1/2 meter. Place the hands either step or float back. Inhale, upward facing, your eye gaze lifts. Your intention is up. Exhale, look back to the knees. Take 5 breaths. So last round of 5. See how much you can now breathe into the back of your body. So back rib cage and diaphragm expands. And the breath is audible to you. Your exhale has a silent whisper. Bend knees on 5th breath, step or jump to your hands. Lengthen half. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand. Hands to heart center, and 5 rounds are complete of part A. So we're heading to 5 rounds of part B, SURYA NAMASKARA. You finished 5 rounds of part A, standing in equal standing. Sweep your arms forwards for Utkatasana, fingertips to the floor. Palms together, any shoulder injuries bring hands to heart center. In this position, knees are touching, feet are touching, and we focus on really tucking the tailbone underneath us so we can engage the lower abdominals. Fold forwards from here, draw the belly to the thighs and place the hands flat. Lengthen half, and you know where you need to go, hands to shins if you need to elongate the spine. Place the palms down, either step back or float back. Draw the belly in. You may be still on knees, chest and chin, that's completely fine. Or take your Chaturanga Dandasana, halfway, flatten the feet, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog pushes you back. And we move to our first Warrior One sequence. Turn your left heel to 45 degrees. Look forwards to the hands and step your right foot between them. Check your heel is under your knee and square your hips to the short edge of the mat. Inhale to lift the arms. We're in Virabhadrasana A, which is Warrior One. Energize out through the back blade of the back foot and press your front knee forwards and towards parallel to the floor. Looking up to the thumbs is our drishti or eye gaze point. Draw shoulders away from ears. Hands will frame the foot and we step back to a high plank position to Chaturanga Dandasana again, or knees, chest, chin. Upward facing dog or cobra at any point. Downward facing dog, and then turn the right heel to 45 degrees and stepping the left foot between the hands. Inhaling as you look up, and also then negotiating with the hips to square them off. It helps here to squeeze your glute in order to tuck the back hip underneath you, and this is advantageous to stretching the hip flexor and the psoas, which is where we get very tight. Looking up, hands frame the foot. Step back to high plank, Chaturanga Dandasana or knees, chest, chin, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 5 breaths in downward facing dog. Come to your breath as much as you can. Use it as guidance and keep it as relatively free as possible. 5th breath, look forwards, bend knees, step or jump between hands, lengthen half. Exhale, head, crown of head to floor. Inhale, standing, you bend your knees to Utkatasana, back to fierce pose. Fold forwards again for round 2. Lengthen half, place hands, step or float back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Preparation for Warrior One. Turn left heel 45, step right foot forwards. Inhaling, Warrior One. Exhaling, hands frame the foot and step back. Chaturanga Dandasana, inhale. Upward dog, downward facing dog. Turn right heel, step left foot forwards. Inhaling. Looking up every time, exhaling, frame the foot, step back, knees, chest, chin at any point, or Chaturanga, downward facing. 5 breaths. At any time, move the neck if it feels comfortable for you. Nod the head yes, shake the head no. Refocus again on the hands, pressing the ground away, lifting the sit bones as high as we can. Fifth breath, look forwards, bend knees, step or jump, lengthen half, forward fold. Inhale, stand, bend your knees. You know where you're going now for the 3rd round, so we're just repeating. And you might start to find a little bit of a faster flow. Step or jump at any point. downward facing. Turn left heel, step right foot forwards, inhale, looking up, exhale, and when you step back, try not to scrape the mat. So use your abdominal strength to lift the belly up and control your way down. One of the hardest things to do. Exhale, push back. Turn right heel, step left leg. Inhaling. Exhaling. Try not to scrape the mat. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale. Exhale. 5 breaths. And all postures here from here on in will be 5 breaths. So it's like a soft wave through the body. The breath really gives us a focal point. It creates sense withdrawal. It gives us something to concentrate on as we're moving on the mat. Breathing one more time, looking forwards, bend your knees, step or jump, your choice. Lengthen half, exhale, fold. Bend knees for around 4. Tuck tailbone under, sit low, forward fold. Lengthen half, place hands, step or jump, your choice. Knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Warrior 1, right leg. Inhale. Squeeze the left butt cheek here, tuck the hip under, exhale. Moving and flowing, inhaling, exhaling. Turn right foot, step left leg, inhale, exhale. So now we're moving like meditation. 1 breath, 1 move, 5 rounds of breath. Downward dog starts to become a place where we can refocus on the breath. Now, anytime from here on in, remember that if you do get tired, you can always drop your knees down. You can sit back to child's pose. Or just like we performed in the warm-up, you can always take rounds of cat and cow stretch that feel good for you. But if you can hold the endurance in downward facing dog, you must. Look forwards, bend your knees, step or jump. We're moving to 5th and final round. Bend knees, Utkatasana. Forward fold, breathing out. Half, breathing in, place hands, step or float. Breathing in, upward facing, downward facing. 5 rounds. Almost complete. Step the right leg forwards, warrior 1. Inhale. Exhale, frame the foot, step back. Upward facing, downward facing. Left heel, steps through. Press the outside blade of the right foot down. Inhale. Last Chaturanga Dandasana. We've done 21 of these, even in the opening sequence. So press back. 5 counts of breath. Finishes part A and part B. And you should just be incredibly warm in the body now. Fifth breath, look forwards, bend knees, step or jump. Lengthen, fold, Utkatasana, sit low. Standing, equal standing, hands to heart center. 10 rounds complete.